I'm like a boss, bitch. No, ugly face. Anyway, chapter 613 of One Piece review. Like right now, the cover page we see the seagulls flying, and it's one of those things where it's gonna be on a couple chapters, and so it seems like we're gonna see how the other people are doing, not with actual chapters, but with cover spreads. So we might see like Mihawk and see how Garp's doing and the whole Marine Ford, how is it doing and all that shit. And oh, and anyway, we start off. We see the Vanderdecken ship and that big fisherman that we saw way like a couple chapters back, and he's a giant tiger blowfish fisherman, and his name is, I have no idea how to say it. Only do wada do sumi. I think that's how you say it. I could be wrong. I have no idea how you say it. So I'm just gonna call him. I'm gonna call him giant tiger blowfish. And anyway, so he's actually pulling the ship. The ship that isn't actually floating by itself. I guess since it's so old that the tiger fish blowman dude, or I'm just gonna call him Wada is pulling it. So Vanderdecken goes on to say, like, what is the message from the mermaid, the princess? When was the last time I sent her a letter, or she replied, and Wada's like, it's been 10 years, man. Maybe you should wait a little longer. Then Vanderdecken's like, wait, what? 10 years? Then he's like, I bet it's Neptune's fault. He's at the political wedding for the princess. Then he says, I think. And then he's like, and there's proof he shut up the princess in the steel tower for 10 years now. So that will explain why she was in the big thing where Luffy found her, the big cage. It's been 10 years she's been in there, so that sucks. Well, we'll find out why she's in there later. And then he goes on to say, oh, the pain. You see, we are in love with each other, I think. Like, so he's second guessing himself. And then we see a figure. We're not even sure who this is, but it's Vanderdecken. And he has an axe in his hand with a rose on it. He says, today I will present her with an axe that has a full rose painted on it. And then he just throws it. And then we actually see the axe rolling, just keep rolling, and it comes back and hits the ship. And then his crewmate's like, Captain, it came back. You completely missed. And we finally see Vanderdecken. And it's not like Papaku said, it's not the actual original Captain Vanderdecken that's been around for years and years and years. And it's his like ancestor, and he's Vanderdecken 9. And he's a Japanese bullhead shark fisherman, and he looks more like some kind of shrimp or something to me because he has like 4 legs, so he looks like some kind of a shrimp, but okay. And he looks like a complete pedophile in my opinion. He just looks like a pedophile. And then he goes on to say, you morons, I never miss my target, I think. There again, he's second guessing himself. Then he says, Princess, no matter how long I search this wide ocean floor, I will never find such a grand and beautiful woman as you. If the love you possess will allow us to be united, then good. But you must not live on your life without someone else. If that time comes, then you will die. And then he says, you must either pledge your love to me or die. So he's a complete stalker, creep, pedophile, son of a bitch. And he's like, your fate is dead or marriage. So she's either gonna marry him or she's gonna die. And we go back to Rugia Kingdom and the Rugia Palace, and the princess is still crying. And Luffy's like, hey, come on! I'm just a pirate who was looking for some food. I didn't know that food was yours. And then he's like, man, she's screaming so loud. This is annoying. And then she's yelling, hey, so you went in my room? Somebody help, brother, help! Then we go on to the next page, and Luffy glances back at something, but we don't know what it is. Then the axe that Vanderdecken threw is coming through her room, which is like along like miles and miles away. How did it get inside of the kingdom when the Vanderdecken was outside somewhere in the Fisherman District? And then while he is being thrown, Luffy looks at it, and I can only guess use some kind of gear second move because he's like jutting across, but it could just be that. It could just be that quick now. And he stops from hitting the princess, and yeah, he grabs it, and the princess is like, "Oh, he saved me." And then we see the Luffy throws like directs the axe in a different direction, and you can see it hit something with force, and it looks like if that would have hit the mermaid, the princess, it would have did damage and most likely killed her. And then because the princess was calling like the guards to help her before, because Luffy came in the room, and then they come in, says, "Princess, are you all right?" And then since like Luffy saved her, she hides him as like she's like, "Oh, I'm okay, it's all right, nothing happened." And Luffy's trying to say, "Hey, let me go," and she's like, be quiet, I'm trying to save you." And then one of the guards is like, "Sorry for making you worry." And then she goes on to say, "There isn't anything wrong. I guess I was just having a bad dream." And then the guard keeps talking and shit, and he says, and then goes on to say how Luffy and the Straw Hats like criminals now, kinda, after what Magalo predicted, how they're gonna destroy the island. And then goes on to say how instead of a feast, it's actually gonna capture the Straw Hats. And so far they captured Zoro, and they're going after Usopp, Nami, and Brook next. And saying like they probably already captured by now. And then they're going to say, but Captain Straw Hat, who should have entered with them, has disappeared. He may have already caught on. We think he is hiding somewhere in the palace, so be very careful. And then he's like, we're going to capture him, and we're going to destroy him or kill him, whatever. And then he goes on to say, "Oh, 5 minutes have passed already. I must be going now." So he's like leaving. It's like 5 minutes passed. We gotta go. We gotta get out of here. And then the princess goes on to say, "Really, thank you so much. I'm very sorry for my rudeness earlier. Please forgive me. I never would have imagined that you were the one who saved Megalo." And Megalo is the shark. Oh, my fault, guys. I said Megalo predicted the future. That wasn't Megalo that predicted the future. It was the shark, the shark lady. I forgot her name. The shark lady predicted the future, saying that the Straw Hats were going to destroy Fisherman Island. Megalo is the shark. Stop doing these reviews late, since I had like all day to do the review. It's almost 1 o'clock. No, my fault. It's almost 9 o'clock at 9:48. Not paying attention. 9:48. I should have made this review earlier, but let me keep on going. And then she says, "Your name is Luffy-sama, I assume." He says, "Yes." And then she's like, "You're a pirate, but you don't seem like a bad person." And then she's like, "Shouldn't you be a bad person?" And Luffy's like, "I don't know. That's up to you to decide." And then she goes on and said, "They said that soldiers captured your crew." And then Luffy says, "Yeah, it's alright. I doubt they can actually really capture my crew. They're fine. That really doesn't matter." But then he's like, "Well, how did that axe even get here?" And then she explains how Vanderdecken is in love with her and refuses to and how she refused to marry him, and how she's like, and he's mad at her because of that, and he ate some kind of devil fruit, well, a curse known as the Mado fruit, which is a devil's fruit, which lets you target on your opponent anywhere you could be like asleep and just throw it, and it's like and just hit your opponent or whoever you're after. So then she explains how she's been in there for 10 years now, because that his power can like target her anywhere, so she has to stay cooped up in the cell, and how only people could visit her for 5 minutes apiece, or he might be able to come through the gates or whatever and just hit her. And then Luffy's like, 10 whole years? That must have been so boring. And then she explains how since that happens, the only person that she really talks to is Megalo, her, and the shark's her precious friend. And then Luffy's eating her food that she was crying about earlier. He's just demolishing her food, like it's a big piece of loaf of bread, and he's just like, "Oh my god," just devouring it. And then she says, "Still, though your human body is so small, yet you can truly eat a significant deal, Luffy-sama." And then she's just feasting on the phone. He's talking, but nobody can understand. She can't understand what he's saying, because it's like talking with his mouth full. And then Luffy's like, "They called you a princess, didn't they? Didn't they? So you're the mermaid princess?" And then she says, "Yes, I'm the daughter of King Neptune. My name is," I can't say her name, so I'll keep saying princess. Shiraya Sho. Shiraya Hoshi, some shit. And then Luffy's like, that's a hard name to say. Yeah, it really is a hard name to say. I can't even say it right. If it comes out English dubbed, then I'll get the name. But until then, it's just gonna be Princess to me. And she goes on to say, "You really don't look like a bad fellow to me. If you're a pirate, then you must go on adventures, correct? Have you ever seen the sun? And have you ever come across many different kinds of flowers and creatures with lots of hair all over their bodies, known as animals, and places with lots of greenery, known as forests?" Then Luffy's like, "That's too many questions. Hold on a bit. I'm eating now." So it seems like she's never really been out her entire life, or a long time ago. It seems like she's never seen the animals, or hasn't seen the sun, or the sun's been distant to her. She haven't seen forests and flowers. But hold up, how is it forest in Fishman Island? Are there or aren't there any forests in Fishman Island? Are there like animals with fur in Fishman Island? And if not, maybe she's referring to like above the water, the actual earth, where, you know what I'm saying, the actual land. And then she's like, "What big cheeks?" and just pokes Luffy in the mouth while he's eating. Never touch Luffy. Never interrupt Luffy while he's eating. That's a bad thing. The mermaid princess learned that. And he's like, what did you do that for? What's your problem?" And then she starts crying. She's like, "Please don't chastise me in such a loud voice. So you really are a scary person after all, Luffy-sama." And then she's like, "I've never been yelled at by someone in my whole life, you know." And yeah, so it seems either she's really spoiled, or she really had never left that room before, and nobody really talked to her like a lot. And since she's the princess, no one would dare yell at her, I guess. And then he's like, "Huh? Hey, why are you crying now? Stop it. How could you be so big and yet be such a cowardly crybaby?" So Luffy still he's like, "I don't like you." It's funny how Luffy can say stuff so blatantly, like with no regards, just says it. If you guys remember, do you remember when he said that the Kobe saying, "I hate people like you, cowardly," and all that stuff? And then she's still crying. And then she's like, What horrible words! I've never been told such. You're such a horrible man. Please leave." So she's never been like these words never been mimicked to her before. So it's like something new. That's like just calling her out of her name completely. She's probably like crazy right now. And then she says, "I can't take it." And the shark is like, Get away, get away." She's like, the shark's like barking, I guess, I don't know, at Luffy's like, "Get away." And then Luffy's finished eating. He's like, "That was delicious." And then he says, "10 whole years in here? Huh, that'd make me sick." And then she's like, "Hurry up and leave, Luffy-sama." And she's still calling him Sama even after she's pissed at him and stuff. And then he's like, "Isn't there anywhere you want to go?" And then she says, "Of course there are many, but..." And he's like, "I thought so. Let's go out of here then. Let's go for a walk. If more things come flying, I'll just bounce them all away." So he's like, "Okay, let's go out. Some shit hits you, I'm gonna bounce that shit. Regardless, it could be a boulder, it could be another ship, it could be anything. I'll bounce that shit." And we go back to the Rukia Palace front entrance, and something's going on. And then it seems we see Kami, and she's like, "If you resist any further, you'll really become criminals." And so they're still trying to capture Usopp, Brook, and Nami, because they want to capture him to see about the prophecy and all that stuff. And then Brook's like, "However, if we have no reason to obey them, Kami-san." And then Usopp's like, if we don't resist, they'll just arrest us. They're the ones that came at us for some crazy reason. Regardless of what we may do in the future, we think we're going to sit here and let them capture us because of it. It's like, okay, so sorry guys, my throat's on hurt. Oh, anyway, so then Brook's like, "I will take on as many as you wish." And then one of the soldiers like, "These pirates have caused a ton of incidents up until now. Even without their captain, they're extremely strong." Then Nami goes on to say, "I was really looking forward to the alcohol at the Rugia Palace, you know." And then Papa Goo is like, did Nose always sound that reliable? Because if you remember, Usopp used to be a coward and stuff. He's like, please, let's not fight. How about we just stick to the side and have a cup of tea, please?" But now he's like, "You're gonna get it, bitch. You're about to get your ass kicked." That's how he is now. And then one of the fishermen is like one of the managers or some shit. I forgot what he was. He's like, do not falter, soldiers. Look at this without doubt. The prologue of the future that was predicted. So he's like, being unruly now and unreasonable. So right now, you can tell in the future they're gonna do something bad. So that's complete bull to me. That's not even fair. How you gonna take them all over some prediction? But then Usopp's like, that's a good one. If you guys hadn't attacked us in the first place, we had no reason to go wild like this. So Usopp is starting to become a cocky SOP. And I'm starting to like this about Usopp. Maybe he's my favorite Straw Hat. If you guys didn't know, Zoro's my favorite Straw Hat right now because Zoro's a badass. He proved it in this chapter. Why he's still my favorite though. And then Usopp introduces this new weapon, the black Kabuto. I wonder what happened to the huge Kabuto, the green. I think it was green, the huge ass Kabuto he used to have. That's pretty cool. And then that fisherman with the glass shit in his eyes, like, Neptune's talking about, please, your power. It's like, I don't know if he's taking a shit or something. He's like, or having a good ass orgasm. But he's like, I would like some time to decide whether it's okay or not to arrest people because of a prediction. So he's like, I don't know. I don't know if I want to arrest them just because of a prediction. Therefore, just capture them for now, everyone. So he's like, alright, I don't want to kill you or arrest you from some decision, but let's capture you. Isn't capturing the same thing as arresting somebody? In the long run, it really is the same thing. And then, he's like, he says, soy. I don't know what the hell that is. It says, that his battle cry. Like some people yell, like, ah. And he's just like, soy. That's not even a cool battle, yo. And then Brooks is like, this will be a powerful one. And Brooks starts about to hit him with his sword, or his fencing sword. I think it's like a fencing sword. He's about to hit him with it. But then out of nowhere, we see a black dot jet. I'm like, Luffy again? What? But no. It's my favorite Straw Hat, Zoro. He is actually matching up against Neptune. No big surprise, because Zoro's a badass and he's the best Straw Hat and he's like the best swordsman. But I'm being completely biased, so let me stop. And then Nami's like, Zoro. And then Usopp's like, weren't you in the prison? And then Zoro's like, I heard the sound of a party getting started, so I came out. And this is why Zoro's badass. This is why Zoro's my favorite Straw Hat ever. But it's possible that Usopp could be ranked up there now. He's probably my top 5. So if I do a top 5, I'm going to do a top 5 of my favorite Straw Hats now. That they have the 2-year time skip. There's not much that I can talk about, but I'll just name my top 5. And still, Luffy won't be in my number 1. But anyway, we go back to the Fisherman District, Noah, and I'm pissed about that because it was awesome. It was awesome to see Zoro, and I wanted to see him kick Neptune's ass. I'm sorry. And then, as we go back to the Fisherman District, we see that Vanderdecken and Hody Jones are going to team up. And he's like, we're both infamous here, Vanderdecken, you crazy bastard. Pleased to be doing business with you. And then they're about to shake hands, and then Vanderdecken's like, hold on, I need to put my glove on for a minute. And then they shake hands with the gloves on. And with his glove on, is like, okay, we're going to take the head of the sea god Neptune. So that's a hint right there. Either Hody, not Hody Jones, either Vanderdecken is like a neat freak and he likes shaking people's hands with a glove on and scared to get germs, or if he shakes somebody's hand or touches somebody's body like Bon Clay could do, he could use his devil fruit power on them, like that target and shit. Like if he touches his hand, he'd be able to target him or something, or maybe he needs the glove to target him. And then they go and say, then the complete collapse of the Rukia Kingdom. So they want the kingdom to fall. Okay, so damn, this is 19 minutes. Well, I got over 15. Anyway, this is what I want to see next chapter. These are my predictions. I want to see what happens with the Neptune and Zoro thing and what's going to happen. And I want to see if Luffy is actually able to escape with the princess. But I really don't want to see with the Hody Jones and Vanderdecken thing. I mean, it'll be cool, but I really don't want to see it. So, that's pretty much it. There's nothing really much I can say at the moment. But One Piece chapter 614, I should be reviewing that. I almost did not review this one. Truthfully, I'm not gonna lie. So just waiting for Fairy Tail chapter to come out, probably Saturday, and we're waiting for the Naruto chapter to come out like either today or tomorrow. So, Animazing one signing off, saying it's been an animazing experience, and Zoro for the motherfucking win.